Instant Smoothing Serum. This one's another favorite of mine. So this one is a hyaluronic acid based serum. Um, and obviously hyaluronic acid is like, everyone knows hyaluronic acid, everyone uses hyaluronic acid, everyone makes it as well. Like all these brands are just making all these hyaluronic acid serums, and they really range in price in I guess like the price point. Like you can get a hyaluronic acid serum for like $7, and then you can get one for like $350. And you might be thinking like, what's I'm just gonna get the one that's $7, right? Like, what's the difference? Why am I doing this? Spending money for no reason, essentially. And the thing about hyaluronic acid is that it's like, it's got many forms. So typically, so the skin absorbs things, correct? If you look at the skin and imagine it as like, I don't know, I guess just a surface with a bunch of tiny holes in it, right? Those holes, they're only so big. Like you can't fit a basketball in a hole this size. And so what happens is many hyaluronic acid serums, molecularly speaking, are too big to actually fit inside the deepest layers of the skin because, like I said again, it's this tiny little hole that is open to absorb product, and you're essentially trying to like put a basketball inside with these hyaluronic acid serums that are super heavy in their weight. Essentially, the heavier they are, that just means they're bigger. Like molecular weight depends on how many molecules are in the chain, if that makes sense. And so the more molecules in the chain, the harder it is going to be for this huge thing to fit into this tiny hole. So what's cool about this is that this has hyaluronic acid of 3 different weights. Because just as your skin, right, it's got this tiny hole right here, the hole also tapers. And so it kind of gets like gradually smaller and smaller and smaller until it reaches the absolute base. So even if, let's say, you've got like a ball big enough to fit into that tiny hole, you are going to like kind of the hyaluronic acid, if it's still a little bit too heavy to reach the base, it's only going to get to about the middle. Does that make sense? So this has 3 different weights of hyaluronic acid, and why that's so important is because as the bigger one gets stuck here and moisturizes this layer, the middle one is going to get stuck here and moisturize this layer. Or no, hydrate, sorry. They're humectants. They don't moisturize, they hydrate. So the bigger one's going to hydrate this layer, the middle one is going to hydrate this layer, and then the smallest one is going to hydrate the base. And so basically, you have, with one serum, essentially 3 different hyaluronic serums inside. And yeah, hyaluronic acid is just so good for, it essentially acts as a sponge and it pulls water from anywhere. So if you're like in a super humid room and you put hyaluronic acid on, technically speaking, the hyaluronic acid is going to just like take all that water from the air and put it into your skin, which is essentially going to give you that nice, plump, dewy, radiant glow that hyaluronic acid does give. And yeah, it's really amazing. This is another product that you can use morning and night. Um, hyaluronic acid itself, it actually, just like ceramide does with the other serum, hyaluronic acid exists naturally in our skin, and it's the ingredient, I guess, or rather the chemical that our skin uses to soak water into it so that it can remain nice and plump and, not look ashy, dull, and that essentially that. Also, since it does plump, it is going to fight against fine lines and wrinkles, all that stuff. Essentially, it's just gonna like plump up your skin without making it look puffy or anything, which is great. And yeah, I really love it. I guess I'll do like little swatch, but I'll do it on my arm this time because I just used my hand for the ceramide. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see, well, let me do the texture one more time. It is very, it's not goopy. It's not like a bad goopy. That sounds kind of terrible, but it is definitely thick. I don't know if you could see, but it's not going to just like slide off your skin, if that makes sense. And due to that, you are just going to have a beautiful glow. I didn't moisturize my arms today, and so yeah, this is like immediately just adding beautiful shine to my skin. So there's that. Now I shall speak about my next. Well, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions about the product itself, hyaluronic acid in general, I suppose, or any other humectants? Like, what is a humectant? Do you need me to explain that a little bit more? If not, I'll move on to my next product. Okay, so next I am going to, oopsies, I just added a product to my bag, but I already have it here. No, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so next